G-Darius is the fourth installment of Taito's long-running Darius series, originally released in arcades in 1997 and ported to the PlayStation 1 year later. The game follows the formula of its predecessors fairly closely. The Silver Hawk returns, and its weapon system hasn't evolved much. Your primary weapon shoots straight ahead, and slowly gets more powerful as you collect red power-ups. A meter at the top of the screen lets you know how many more power-ups are required before the next upgrade. Your secondary weapon follows suit, and after some upgrading it fires in all four directions. Collecting green power-ups will increase its level, which is again shown on the HUD. The trademark shield also returns, and can of course be powered up by collecting blue power-ups. The shield effectively acts as your life bar, and without a shield, you die in a single hit. None of this is really new, however, and the concept more or less follows the previous generation of Darius games. What is new are the capture balls. Collecting purple power-ups will add a capture ball to your arsenal. These can be launched at most enemies, which then turns them to your side. These act like options or helpers, which have become a staple for the genre. These vary in usefulness. Some offer helpful bullet patterns, making the game a little less frantic, while others act more as a meat shield. However, most lie somewhere in between. Having a captured enemy does give you access to two new attacks. First, you can detonate your captured foe like a bomb, which does a decent job clearing out some screen real estate. More impressive is the Alpha Beam. After capturing an enemy, you can take a few moments to charge up this attack and then unleash a massive beam which takes out all enemies and their incoming fire. This Alpha Beam is even more important on the bosses. Your Alpha Beam can act as a counter to their beam, and can be used to defeat them rather quickly. It's a great new gimmick, but I can't help but feel G-Darius feels a bit dated compared to what other shmups were doing at the time. Also returning is the overall aquatic theme of the entire game. All of the enemies are based on some sort of marine life, especially the bosses. For me, this has always been the best part of the Darius series. Seeing the flashing warning sign, followed by an awesome boss name, and then finally seeing the bad boys themselves is always exciting. This leads us to the graphics. G-Darius is the first Darius title to make the jump to polygons, while the previous games used traditional sprites. The results are mixed. The smaller enemies generally lack detail, while the bosses are actually quite fantastic. The jump to 3D allows for more complicated moves and animations. The developers also did a nice job with the textures, with simple lines and bright colors, giving the game a cartoonish look. Like most early polygon games, there are some technical issues. The frame rate is the biggest offender. It frequently hums along at 60 frames per second, but all too often dips below 30. Even worse is the screen tearing, which is more prevalent here than most games. Unlike a modern shmup where slowdown is consistent and helps you dodge bullets, in G-Darius it is unpredictable and jarring, somewhat hampering the experience. Still, slowdown aside, I find G-Darius a visually appealing game. The backgrounds look terrific, with a nice blend of 3D elements and 2D planes. The polygons also allow for some minor camera panning, and the game even turns at a 45-degree angle in a few different sections. The gameplay follows suit. It certainly isn't revolutionary, but evolves the Darius formula just enough to make this a worthwhile experience. The Silver Hawk is responsive, the hitbox is fair, and the act of shooting down everything in sight while dodging waves of bullets is as fun as ever. Sticking to the Darius roots, another gimmick is the branching paths. After defeating a boss, you can choose your next level, offering quite a few different paths through the game. Halfway through each stage, you are offered a choice as well. Not only does this change up the level, but also changes up the attack patterns of the zone's boss. Despite all the different zones and branching paths, enemies are repeated through the entire adventure, reducing some of the variety. Now, I rather enjoy the shmup genre, though I'm not terribly proficient at most of them. For some games, the skill level required far exceeds what I possess. Thankfully, G-Darius offers enough options for those of you in a similar situation. In addition to a plethora of difficulty options, there is a beginner mode. The beginner mode gives you unlimited continues, lets you keep your power-ups when you die, and even gives you the option to start the game powered up. It's a great addition to the game, and in my honest opinion, it makes G-Darius a great entry point for those looking to get into shmups. Finally, we come to the sound. G-Darius has a bizarre soundtrack with a mixture of strange ambiance, weird instruments, and for the most part, doesn't fit any predefined genre that I am aware of. It's a weird space opera of sorts. It does make you feel like you are in an alien world, but I don't find it particularly appealing. Thankfully, the sound effects are well above average. The weapon and explosion sounds are terrific and does a good job masking the bizarre music. G-Darius has mostly flown under the radar since its release. Interest in the genre was fading fast in 1998, and the game did not do enough to stand out from the crowd. Looking at it retrospectively, I find myself really enjoying this one. The gameplay mechanics are admittedly simple, but everything just works. There is just enough strategy with managing capture balls and making sure you aren't wasting their powerful abilities. G-Darius does a great job mixing in twitch bullet dodging and light memorization, and I find the experience to be quite engaging. G-Darius gets the fundamentals right. Backgrounds have the right amount of contrast with incoming fire, and it's always easy to see exactly what is going on at all times. The bosses are immensely satisfying with multiple segments, breakable parts, tough patterns, and just look badass in general. G-Darius definitely shows its age a bit technically, and the game certainly doesn't break any new ground, but at its core, this is still a fun shmup with few flaws to speak of. 4 out of 5.